Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Sunderland. It's our first proper season with the team. We're just ignoring last season happened. We didn't get it till halfway through it, and they're in the relegation zone. This is where we actually start our journey as Sunderland manager. And we need to get off to a good start against Leeds. And this is our new look team that we're going to try and do that with. We've got Pettersson in goal. We've got a back four of Moreira, Ballard, Smith, and Casanova. What a name. In midfield, we've then got Kofod and Sukdi. In front of them, Anthony, Vangelis, Gutteridge, and Hoye starting up front rather than Hansen because he's just performed better in pre-season. He wasn't our first choice. And actually, when I'm looking at it, we have just brought in new boy Sterling as well. So potentially Sterling could start there. Can he play anywhere else? No, he can't. Hansen probably comes out of there and Sterling goes in there. No, see, we need to prioritise our own boys. I know that's very indecisive, but we need to prioritise our own boys. So we'll kind of see how they do in their first match. If they're both rubbish, and Sterling can come in. Univar, who we signed in the summer, is injured. He literally just got injured, so he's out for about another 4 weeks as well. But hopefully these lads can go off and get to a good start against Leeds. We really need it. We don't want a repeat of last season where it's lots of us just fighting in the relegation zone. What we want this season is a much more comfortable season where we're challenging for the playoffs. And I think that's where everyone, as far as we can see, the fans, the board, etc., all expected Sunderland to be last season, and it just didn't really happen. I think they had a good enough team maybe to do it last season. Bear with. There we go. My light just decided to go off, so we're just adding that on. It would have been really weird if I'd edited that out. I think, going back to what I was saying, Sunderland had a good enough team to do this last season, but for some reason they didn't. We're not really sure why. I mean, we saw when we got here there was a complete lack of goals in the team. I still think there's possibly not a lack of goals now, but there's not as many as we would like if we have a look. In fact, we can have a look at some point. We'll just do that now because I can show you guys. If we go and look at the squad and we go onto the squad depth screen, if we just add a second, let's just add the attributes here, insert column. And we're just going to add finishing. We've got Frankie Sterling, who's got 15 finishing. Zach Emerson's got 15. Magna Hansen's got 14. But everyone below that is very, very poor. And we proved last season that Magna Hansen not necessarily scoring all that many goals. And it's definitely something we want to rectify this season. I mean, perhaps Frankie Sterling on loan from Spurs is the man to do that. It's entirely possible. I don't think this transfer window is necessarily over for us yet either. I think Anthony could still go. Patterson, our goalkeeper from last season, has been under constant transfer bids for Middlesbrough, and they're big enough. There was not one highlight in that first half. A fantastic start. The bids are big enough that the board are just accepting them because they can't turn them down. They are sort of in the region of about 26-27 million pound, but he has no desire to move to Middlesbrough. So every time they make the bid, he goes and has contract talks with him and then just rejects them. So we're in a continuous cycle of, oh, that's not a great start. We're in a continuous cycle of him getting bids and then rejecting contracts. That has been disallowed, so it looks like it was offside. It was offside. So Pettersson there managing to keep a clean sheet. Our boys managing to keep a clean sheet, and we are still in this. We're going to go and encourage them. It's been a very dull game. If we're looking at stats, we actually look okay. But just, I mean, we've had one highlight and it's been the disallowed goal there for Leeds. I'm all for being on key highlights, but this just isn't a very good first game of the season. I make a couple of changes here as well. So Keir Smith is tired already. Jensen Selt is going to come on for him. I think up front, maybe we make some changes. Jaden Anthony could come off and Hansen could come on. But he likes to be a winger over there, so that's not necessarily ideal. But we could bring on a Jack Clark over there, so we'll just do that for a minute. We'll bring Jack Clark on for Anthony. Maybe he can get a nice ball into Hoye. But there's just nothing happening in this game. Just nothing at all. It's just really boring. There is a goal kick here for Leeds. Gutteridge has managed to get on the end of that, although he has lost possession pretty instantly and then regained it pretty instantly as well. Gutteridge now bringing the ball forward. Can he get across into the box? He can, to the far post, over to Clark. Vangelis there. That man, this is why we brought him back. It's a goal on his debut. Vangelis, the absolute first hero we had at Forest Green Rovers, makes his return to my side, not to Forest Green Rovers, to Sunderland, obviously. Manages to score a goal in his debut. It's a good cross from Gutteridge there. Over to Clark. Vangelis at the opposite post. Gets his head on the end of it. And it is Sunderland 1, Leeds 0. We probably need to think about a couple more substitutions now as well. Because we do have some tired legs. Casanova can come off. Jalen Sakete can come on. Just give working back to fitness because he has been out injured recently. I think then maybe we bring on Magne Hansen up front and maybe Liddington over on the left-hand side, and that can be our final 3 substitutions. None of them are going to be playing very long. Now we just take no highlight. Now we'd be perfectly happy to go, thank you very much. We don't want another highlight. Instead, we are going to get one in the dying couple of minutes of this second half, with Leeds on the ball, and they've got through on goal, but Pettersson there, more than equal to that shot. It's now looks like, is it a corner, the opposite end? It is a corner, the opposite end. It's going to be Anderson taking this one. What can he do here? Can we do anything with this ball? Who is Anderson? Hold on. So is this guy? No. Who is Anderson? I genuinely don't know who Anderson is. Who is Anderson? Set piece takers, corners, over on the left and on attack. I mean, I don't know who this is. It's very confusing. Ballard does get on the end of that one. I don't know who this is. It's the midfield. Anderson is midfield centre right. So Koffard comes up as Anderson. Why does Koffard come up as Anderson? Neither of your names are Anderson. Why are you Anderson? That doesn't make any sense. But that aside, it's a 1-0 win for us. Clark, Vangelis and Gutteridge there, definitely the standout performers. Although all of our defenders, Smith, Ballard and Selt, all had pretty good games as well. So that's a nice start to the season for us. We'll take a 1-0 win. We're more than happy with that, I think. And we just continue from there. We're now going to go and face Fleetwood Town in the Carabao Cup, I think. Just to have a look at that match. Actually, no, do we care about the Carabao Cup particularly? I mean, we probably don't, so we probably skip that one. We'll have a look at Cardiff instead, because I think the lead is just a little bit more interesting. Apparently, we've been splashing the cash. We've brought in £3 million of transfers and 8.5 million, and last season 15.5 in, 9.75 out. I mean, I guess that's slightly splashing, but hey ho, Vangelis, we're just going to give him a nice pat on the head. Well done for scoring on your debut, you beautiful, beautiful human. And I'll be back in about a week's time then for that match against Cardiff. No, nothing happened in the way of transfers in between these two matches, but we did just beat Fleetwood 4-1 in the Carabao Cup, which is probably... How have we got to Jack Clark? It's probably a good sign of things to come, given they are in the same league as us. We can see Sterling scored on his debut. Anthony got one. Selt got one. And who got the other one? Oh, Hayden Farmer came on as a substitute and grabbed one as well. So all round, a pretty good performance. You can kind of see from the match stats as well that Fleetwood got a goal at the end of the game. But globally, they weren't really in the match, which was good for us. That's kind of what we want this season. And the teams seem to have gelled. I wouldn't say they've gelled well yet. You know, it's going to take some time. If you have a look at the cohesion and all of this, it's not fantastic yet, but they've done well in those first couple of matches, which is nice. This is the lineup for today, though. We've got Peterson in goal. We've got Liddington, Ballard, Smith and Casanova as our back four. In midfield, it's Kofod next to Vangelis, Anthony, Hoye, Gutteridge and Sterling starting up front today after his goal on his debut. He only played the first half, and then we took him off and brought on Hayden Farmer up front, so he should be nice and fit, raring to go. Hopefully can grab another couple of goals. I mean, I'd like to play our boys, but equally, I'd also like to get Sunderland promoted or into the playoffs, into a better position this season. And if that means playing the lone boys, we're going to play the lone boys. There's no shame in it. That's what they're there for. That's why we've brought them in. Or in this case, that's why my director of football has brought them in. And again, we'll see if he can score some goals. He got 20 for Blackpool last season. I'd argue this is a better team than Blackpool had last season. Anthony running through on goal there, trying to get hold of that loose ball and not quite having the pace to get there before their goalkeeper. But again, it's it's a nice bright start for us in those opening seconds. We just need to make sure we keep it up this season, and we start, goals were the big problem last season, so if we can just get goals, I think we're golden, really. Vangelis has just dodged a couple of tackles there, launches that one forward to Gutteridge from the centre of the park, pulls it back to Casanova, into Vangelis, who's continued his run into the box, and it is just shot over the top of the goal. That was a nice little move there from Vangelis to pass it out wide and then just continue his run into the box to get on the end of it as well. Gutteridge, he's a good pressing winger as well, and Sterling's through on goal, but it is saved by the Cardiff goalkeeper. Cardiff, of course, one of the teams that we could have ended up going to as well. Right, we'll unpause this. I had to pause it, and there's some weird editing because my dog just started barking really loud, and I had to go check what it was. But as it's the corner comes to nothing, so I could have completely edited that one out. But never mind. I've committed to keeping that one in now, so we're just going to keep it in. Again, we started off really well here. The Cardiff haven't had a shot yet. We're pretty much counter-attacking by the look of it because we've only had 38% possession, but we'll deal with that. So it's encouraged the team as well, as Cardiff do come forward at the start of this highlight. The boys are hassling them in midfield, and Sterling is really trying to press there. Anderson, I never know what to call him now. We're going to keep calling him Anderson because that's what it says on the screen. And Cardiff, after I've just said they haven't actually had a shot yet, get their first shot of the game, and do immediately go and score it, which, not great. Not great. That's not what we want. Defensively, that was a little frail. That is very much reminiscent of last season, where we'd have bags and bags of shots and be in control of a match, but then go in and concede sloppy goals like that. So we need to get back into this a little bit quicker than we are doing, and not let Cardiff go and grab a second or start building any sort of momentum here. But once again, Cardiff on the attack. That one's passed out wide. Liddington, no one near anyone over on that side. And Cardiff are just being allowed to come through here and carve us apart. I mean, we're just not really doing well enough here. Sterling, who had a really good debut in the last game, not really offering a huge amount in attack. None of our boys are really playing as good as they can do, apart from Gutteridge. Gutteridge, the player on the right wing on loan from Norwich, is having a really, really good game, and he seems to have good games as far as we can see so far. He presses a lot, and then he's good in attack as well, and that's very much what we want. Cardiff here with a shot from range. Luckily, that one has gone sailing over to sail our blushes, but we probably do need to make a couple of changes here. We'll get rid of this highlight first. So Anderson into Ballard. Never mind. Daniel Ballard with his first goal of the season. We set up all our set pieces in the pre-season. We put our tall boys by the post. That one absolutely 100% paid off there. Anderson swinging that one in. Ballard managing to get his head on the end of it and nod that one home for our first goal of the game and the equaliser against Cardiff. And now we probably don't need to rush to make as many changes, but I would argue that certainly up front, Sterling could be doing a little bit more. So what do we do here? Let's take Sterling off. Let's bring Magne Hansen on for his first appearance of this season. Don't think we need to do a lot else yet at the moment, and I don't think necessarily there's a lot of players on there that can do a lot to contribute. Maybe Jack Clark, if we're not going to do anything here. But Gutteridge is doing so well that I don't feel the need to bring on Clark. I don't think that's necessarily the problem. Hoyer's now tired as well, so Hoyer can come off. Jay Matete can come on there. We're just going to swap these ones around as well, because I think Vangelis is probably better as the central attacking midfielder. Liddington can come off, and Harvey White's going to come on over at left back. Anthony as well is tired, so Clark can come on there for Anthony. And we probably will make just the last substitution in a minute. If we can go and grab another goal here, that would be fantastic. We just encourage the team to go and do just that as we start this highlight with a Cardiff goal kick, who are just sort of holding it at the back and don't seem to be in any great rush to bring it forward and go on the attack themselves. Allardyce, formerly obviously of Sunderland, on the ball there, sold in the summer, returning to the stadium. Oh, he's not returning to the stadium, like we're away. Returning to play against Sunderland very early on in this season. White now bringing this one down the wing. Obviously not a very natural left back, but he can play there. Clark now also not a natural left winger, but can play there into Hansen. Hansen over to a fresh Matete, who holds it up on the edge of the box, pulls it back to Harvey White. Harvey White with a shot from range for his second goal of the season. His first was a penalty in the Carabao Cup tie against Fleetwood, was it? I've forgotten already. He gets his second in as many games here, coming off of the bench on this occasion. It's a good run from that left back position. And he's done well there, to be fair. Our defenders keeping us in it today. Both Ballard and now Harvey White are the men scoring rather than our strikers. We quite like our strikers to score, but I guess we'll take the goals wherever we can find them. Kofod/Anderson probably needs to come off, but we don't really have anyone for him. So I think Jason Selt just comes on here for Kerr Smith, just for the last 5 minutes or so of this tie, and hopefully we can see this out, and it's a good start to the season. It will be 3 wins on the trot, 2 wins in the league, but it does mean not conceding to Cardiff in these dire minutes here, because we do have a tendency to do that. Vangelis hassling the Cardiff player there and just stopping them advancing too quickly, and hopefully just pressurising them into a big ball forward. Instead of that, they have managed to play through our midfield there, and now are coming forward. It's a ball into the box. It's held up on the edge of the area. Selt just about getting to it, but I feel like he didn't commit to the tackle there, because I feel like that would have possibly been a penalty given where it was on in the box. And maybe if he had made that tackle, we'd be looking at a penalty. So probably made the right decision there. That one's nodded away. Clark has gone and won possession back as well. He's all alone now. Going to have to hold that one up, and is tackled. And now the ball is launched back forward the other end. But that's the end of the highlight with Cardiff on the ball. So I'm guessing nothing came to that. And the score at the end of the day is 2-1 to Sunderland. It's a good second half for us. As I mentioned, our defenders very much keeping us in that. But it's 6 points on the board from the first 2 games. I don't think we can ask for a lot more than that. We physically can't ask for any more than that. That is the maximum we could have got in our first 2 games. And we're very, very happy with that. We're not going to look relegation threatened if we play like this all season. What we now need to do is go away. Oh, by the way, we've got Grimsby in the Carabao Cup, but it's literally, the Carabao Cup is really early. We've literally got Cardiff, Preston and the Carabao Cup again, so we're going to ignore the existence of that one. We'll probably come back mid sort of September. Maybe Blackburn and Ipswich. Blackburn were in the Premiership last season. They got promoted and then they finished 18th in the Premier League and have got relegated. So it'd be interesting to have that game against them. And hopefully by then we are still performing just as well as we have in that first episode. I believe as well we might have a couple more signings coming in by then. And if you have enjoyed today's one and you're excited for that, then do drop a like down below and I'll see you there.